Hi, my name is Michael Marsland, and this is my SYSC 3010 technical memo. The topic is the OC Transpo API. I'll be showing you how to use it and some of the things you can do with it. Let me start by asking you a question. You ever going out the door and you're going to catch the bus and you want to check the bus schedules to see if you need to run to the bus or not, but you're worried that if you take the time to check the bus schedule, then you might miss the bus anyway. I've got a solution for you. This project here that I'm going to show you how to make today is called the bus button. So instead of taking the time to check the bus and maybe missing it, all you simply must do is click the button and count the flashes. 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes. You know exactly how many minutes you have until you need to get to the bus. So now you can walk. If it was 1 minute, then you'd know you need to run. Today I'll be discussing how that's possible thanks to the OC Transpo API and how you can make this project for yourself. So first off, an API is a server that you can make requests to, specifically using HTTP often. The OC Transpo API sends back information about OC Transpo buses and the bus schedule. I'll be showing you how to make an account, how to set up and get an application going, how to get your app ID and an API key, and then how to make your first call to the application. And I'll briefly show you how I was able to build this, and I'll have all the information you need to build this yourself in the description down below. So first off, let's get you started and working as a developer. You'll come here to the OC Transpo website /developers. You can follow along with the video as I go. There's lots of information here about the OC Transpo API, frequently asked questions, documentation you can read, best practices and terms of use you should obviously read. And then when you're ready to register as a developer, you can come and do that. You click this link, it'll bring you to a sign up page, enter your information, and click sign up. You'll receive an email. It's pretty quick. That will contain this information. You'll click this link to activate your account, and it will bring you to the developer portal. Once you are signed in the developer portal, which I can do, I've already created myself an account. I will sign in. You'll see an overview page, and you'll go to the applications page to make your first application. I've already made a couple, but I will be making a new one just to show you how. You can enter a name for your application, bus button 2, and a description, another demo project. And you click create the application. Now you've already got your own demo application going, and it's only been 3 minutes, so there you go. Now that you've got your application here, you can see your application ID, which is here, and you can see your application keys. These you should obviously keep secret. I'm just showing you for the sake of education, but I will be refreshing these keys after the video, so you won't be able to use them. You'll have to use your own. So once you've got your application set up and your application keys, we'll take a look at the documentation. For our project today, we'll be using this method, get next trips for stop. So this documentation has pretty much all the information you'll need to use the OC Transpo API in any way that you want. It's got various descriptions on the error codes, vehicle types, and all the 4 methods that you can call through the API to get different bits of information. The API also has, the OC Transpo API also has its own GTFS system, which is Google's Transit Information System, I guess standard, and it contains all the information about the buses and stuff, shapes of the routes, the directions everything goes, a list of all the stops, so you can find whatever stop you want to use your program with. So you can download that as well from the developers page. It's available here, and you can use any one of these methods you'd like. Today we're going to be using get next trip for stop to make our little bus button application. But before we get into this, reading the documentation, let's hop over to our IDE. I'm using VS Code, and I'll be showing you how to make your very first call to the API. So this code is available in the description. I've made a git gist that you can copy the code from. Just copy it into your editor. I'm using Python 3, and we'll be using the requests library to make an HTTP request to the target here. So in order to install that, if you're in Python, you'll want to use pip install requests. Just type that in, and I already have it installed, so everything goes swimmingly, but it should work fine for you as well. And if you have any issues there, that's something you can Google on your own, and I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out. If you can't, leave a comment. Once you've got that done, this is on the developer documentation page. It shows you the URL that you need to hit in order to receive the information. So here it is, and I've copied that into the code here. You'll need your app ID and API key, which comes from that developer portal from the application we set up here. Here's your application ID, here's your API key, and you bring those into your IDE, and then you'll need a stop number and a route number. So route number is the number of the bus. I usually take the number 2, it's how I get to school, and the stop number is the number on the little sign next to the stop. It's also the number you text if you're using the text API. There's also another API application that uses this API that I use a lot, which is the Transit app. You may have seen it before. It uses the OC Transpo API. And you could, using the OC Transpo API, after I get you set up here, you could make an app like this yourself. Not in Python probably, but using the API through a different backend or front end. You'll need your stop number. So in this transit data that I showed you how to download before, there's a list of stops here. You can Google the stop or Control F for the stop that you want. I live near Preston Street, so the stop I usually take is Preston and Balsam, and this is my stop code here, 2358. So I copied that in, and I copy the route number for the bus I take, and here is my request. And that's what I need to send to the OC Transpo API, and it will return all the information I need. So let's run this code. I'm using the JSON library to just print this code out, the JSON out beautifully. And here it is. And here it is. You can see it here. It sends back in this form. There's no error. Here's the route direction. It's got the route string label, the South Keys bus, the route number, the stop label, Preston and Balsam, and the stop number. And then it contains a list of trips. You can see here, there's a bus coming in 0 minutes, there's a bus coming in 15 minutes, and there's a bus coming in 30 minutes. Take a look out and see if I can spot that bus coming in 0 minutes. Should be right around the corner. And so that's how you make your first call to the API. You've done it, and you've got information back. We can do a lot of things with this information. Today we'll be creating this little box. So in here, like I said, I've got a Raspberry Pi Zero, and it's connected up to an LED and a light. And these Raspberry Pi Zeros are great little devices. They're very cheap. This is the wireless version, and you can use them for a bunch of projects just like this one. They're fantastic. I'll have information in the description about how to get everything here. I'll have wiring diagrams so you can get your own little box like this set up. So here, I will refresh this again. You can see the next bus is in 14 minutes now. So if I press this button, we'll expect this light to flash 14 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Oh, well, a minute has passed, so there you are, 13 minutes. So we can see that it's live updating by contacting the API and flashing the light. So next time I'm running out the door, I can use this instead. There's a lot of ways you can use this OC Transpo API beyond setting up a project like this, which I find very useful, but you might want something more advanced, like an application for yourself. There's all the information you'll need here is in the documentation, and you can get summaries for each stop. You can get all the trips, not just for the number 2 bus, but perhaps you could also want to catch the 85 from that stop. And so there's a lot of ways you can use the OC Transpo API once you've become a developer. And you've got your application ID and your API key. You can write any program you want in Python and get that set up. Here's the code for on the Raspberry Pi that I'm using the GPIO library, GPIO 0. I'll have information about that in the description as well. We are just parsing through, grabbing the first trip, the next trip is coming, index 0, and getting the adjusted schedule time. That is GPS updated. If you come into the documentation, you can read all about that, about what each of these things mean. Adjusted schedule time, the time until the estimated time until trip is estimated to arrive at the stop. You'll see the adjustment age here, which usually comes back as -1, but sometimes that will also, I lost my terminal. You can see here, 12, and that comes back as -1. Sometimes you'll get a GPS update from the bus. It's rare on OC Transpo buses, I'll admit, but sometimes they will be GPS updated, and this time will be GPS updated, and you'll know that because this will be a number, however many minutes it's been since it was last updated. And this is where that tells you that information, and all the other information that you'll receive back from the API, and what you can do with it, and build your own applications. So there you go. I hope now you can see how you can use the OC Transpo API, how you can make a call to it, and I hope you won't have any problems becoming a developer, getting started, and making some applications. If you get something going, please leave a comment and show me your code. I'd love to check it out. I hope you enjoyed this and that you will start developing. Cheers.